Hey everybody, welcome to Bad Relationship Advice. I'm Damien, here with Monica, and today we're going to continue our series on the seven deadly sins and how this is how the organic portal, the soulless human, navigates his life on this planet. And Monica's going to tell us what deadly sin we are going to study today.
Well, we are going to talk about gluttony, and I noticed you haven't asked me how I'm doing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a glutton for punishment, apparently.
Well, because it is relevant, I am actually kind of hungover. So I must say I have committed the sin of gluttony last night. Excessive drinking is one of the definitions of gluttony. And you may want to ask me how I felt today.
How are you, Monica? How are you feeling today?
And how I've been feeling today was just completely hard to get off my couch, and kind of didn't really do much with my day as a result. So do I regret it? Yes, I do. And so luckily this doesn't happen every night, but
oh, come on, Monica, we know you're a party animal.
But anyway, so I think that if this were to be happening all the time, what road would that lead us down? Excessive drinking, what does that take us away from? It's, this thing of consumption, right?
Yeah. Let's
Overconsumption.
look at some different definitions of what a gluttony actually is. So one definition is that, and it's funny because as we explore these sins, there's always something, in the definition we're like, oh wow, I never thought of it that way. So this one says overindulgence and overconsumption of food, drink, or wealth items, particularly as status symbols. I don't ever think of gluttony as, being a glutton for status, but yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so why status symbols?
I mean, I guess because anything like that, anything that's like above and beyond, like luxury, that kind of stuff, you can kind of become addicted in a way, or like you can become identified with it, and I don't know, you just get into that mode of
it's the overindulgence in wealth or materialism, right? So it's not this just sense of having material things in order to have shelter and the things that we actually need.
Right. Yeah, and excessive wealth lends itself to that, right? I mean, if I have $100 million in the bank, am I just going to go get, simple peas and carrots for dinner? I mean, it's like, it would almost be unthinkable to not indulge and take advantage of the wealth, the excessive wealth.
Yeah. Well, I think when it kind of takes over your life in a sense, so it could also be just the pursuit of wealth in and of itself is going to take up a lot of your thoughts and behaviors and so on. This sort of obsessive aspect, the love of material pleasure, to idolize something that's material, right? And the idea is it's things that we can consume.
Yes. And yeah, it's overindulgence and overconsumption. So maybe we should talk about the difference. What does indulgence actually mean? Like if you're indulging in something, does it mean you
so I would say it's kind of like having a lot of, I would say sensual pleasure in it, right? When you really indulge in something.
You're really into it.
Yeah, you're really into it. So is it gluttony to really enjoy something a lot?
Well, let's ask Pope Gregory the First, who wrote different ways of how you can commit the sin of gluttony back in the 500s, back in the Middle Ages. So, or gosh, was that even pre-Middle Ages? So it's crazy the different things. So one, which I feel like I commit pretty much on a regular basis, eating between meals. So I feel like in some
But
countries
yeah.
in some countries the meal times are sacred even to this day. I remember when I lived in Spain, it was like, this is when you eat. That's it. You don't eat. And I remember like going out late at night after you got out of the club or the dance club or whatever, like there wouldn't be anything open to eat. There would be no like, here in the United States, like you can always go through Taco Bell drive-through. You can always satisfy that desire for food. There just wasn't, and I think probably similar in France, right?
Yeah, I mean, like restaurants being open during certain times, and I mean, it's that window where you can go and get your lunch or your dinner or whatever, and then otherwise they don't serve. And I remember when I first came here, it would be kind of it can be a source of frustration if you don't have the timing right.
Right.
So,
if you don't live your life by those,
yeah, like if it's 3 o'clock and you
times.
want to go have lunch, and you're like, oh man, I missed my lunch window. So
right, seriously, you have to be more disciplined. So the second one is kind of related to what we were just talking about seeking delicacies and better quality of food. So yeah, it's like seeking that indulgence, wanting the food to give us more pleasure than it should, according to this medieval pope, at least.
Yeah, so I think this is gluttony. It's hard to avoid gluttony also living in France under those definitions, because
right.
it's such a food culture.
Yeah, I honestly I can only draw a connection to like, the idea that in order to be closer to God or closer to oneness with the universe or whatever you want to call it, you have to kind of be like, you have to be present, as Eckhart Tolle calls it. You have to be conscious. You have to be here in the moment. And I can see, I think in a lot of religions, like anything that tastes too good is seen as taking you out of that for some reason, just destabilizing you. Although I don't know, I feel like if I'm sitting down at a nice meal and I'm enjoying every bite, like, I mean, what the hell are we here for if not to enjoy life, Seriously, it's not like you're not wolfing it down. Now that's something different. That if you're taking food in with too much eagerness,
and that's also gluttony, right?
That's gluttony, absolutely. If you're just eating it but you're not even tasting it, but I mean, enjoying it, I don't know. Maybe it just depends on if that, like you were saying, consumes you, that desire for that delicious food, and it like is affecting your life in a way. And then of course,
like if it almost becomes like sort of, if that, it has to somehow, if it's sort of more important than other things that should take precedence over, if your goal in life is to eat good food, I guess.
Yeah, right. Or if that's your primary source of pleasure or something, maybe.
Yes, and it takes you away from like your spiritual
self.
Now,
what if I wanted to prepare a luxurious meal for you as an act of altruism, kindness, love? Am I seducing you into gluttony, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so I think this is I think it's okay. I would say that it's okay to to enjoy food. I think it's okay to make good food, because I think it would be kind of messed up if you made a meal and it was just really sucked because, and then what? Then I don't
Right.
understand how to even.
Well, don't monks in the convents and in the monasteries, like, don't they just eat very, very plain food? Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been,
I
so, but
mean, I can't
yeah.
imagine that the Buddhist monks or the Catholic monks in the monasteries are, you know, pigging out on, suckling pig and roasted carrots and the sugary juices. I mean, it's like porridge and rice, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
does that?
Well, yeah, because again, because I guess the idea is that I think the idea with gluttony is also that seeking these pleasures in a way, overindulging, because there's almost like sometimes because of boredom, right?
True. You need something to get excited about.
Yeah, and if you are bored, if we are bored, then it's sort of like we don't have enough. Like a person who has a lot of spirituality, I think they don't really get bored.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
They can sit there just completely still and just enjoy existing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so it's sort of being filled spiritually versus materially.
Ooh, that's a nice way of putting it.
And glut is filled to excess. So it's also this idea of consuming to excess. And so we can think of other things that have we finished the list of the different types of gluttony?
Yeah, I'm through it. And now I want to ask, like, in spite of knowing all this, what moved you to exercise gluttony?
Well, I haven't actually read or studied this list before.
Oh,
Now,
I see. Okay.
now that I am enlightened, I am going to actually I'm going to practice temperance more.
All right. Temperance, one of the 7 virtues and a possible antidote to gluttony.
Yes. And actually temperance, it's kind of interesting, because what happens is because I also have this tendency to just scarf down my food.
Really?
And absolutely, yes. So I can do that with drink, I can do it with food. I just,
I know.
and
Monica, what's your astrological sign? Can I ask?
I am a Pisces. You are asking.
I think Pisces, actually, that's one of the vices of Pisces specifically. Is gluttony, is overconsumption.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we should look into that.
Okay.
Taking a totally different direction, but I think that did ring a bell of Pisces as like overconsumption as a means of escape.
As an escape mechanism. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
But if we are truly, at peace and present,
yes,
then we don't
need to.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need to escape from it. And I think that's interesting to think about also, because the escape, not just in food or drink, but screen time.
Yes. Oh my gosh. If gluttony gets expanded to screen time, we're all fucked.
Right. And yes, absolutely. It's just, I know that this is also something that I'm struggling with, which is, even though I'm not on social media a lot, I still check my phone a lot, look things up, just without even thinking about it.
Right.
And things like the focus on excess too. So focusing on excess in terms of going shopping and just buying shit.
Right. Just to buy. Buying just to buy. Well, would you say that our society, in the society in which we live, encourages gluttony?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Because I totally would. Yeah, absolutely. I think to not be trapped in the throes of gluttony is a damn miracle, because everything is pushing us in that direction.
It's all about excess.
I mean, my God, all you can eat buffet. Have you ever been to one of those things?
I have not been to one in a long time because I've been living in France, and maybe it exists somewhere, but it's not a common thing here.
Yeah, you're gonna hardly ever see that in Europe, I think, in general. But like in the United States, it's like unlimited refills, right? Almost everywhere you go, it's unlimited refills. Just like this.
I have been on a cruise a long time ago. I went on a cruise, and it was with the family of my ex-boyfriend at the time, and my boyfriend at the time. Anyway, and I remember there's so much of that because it was all you can eat, everything, and I just felt that it was just so. I really didn't feel good being there because there was so much food that was being wasted.
Yeah, the amount of waste.
Yes, absolutely. So,
if you overeat to prevent waste, are you still being glutton? Is it still gluttony, or is something else at that point?
Well, you should probably just store it for later.
Yeah. Take it back to your cabin.
Yeah, but I'm trying to practice. I think one thing that I'm trying to do now is practice. I realize, even though I really, relative to, I think a lot of people, I don't buy a lot of stuff. I buy very little, but I realize I still have too much stuff. I have a lot of food in my pantry, and so my goal now is just to eat all the food I have. That means
before you go and buy more.
Yeah, before I buy more, or I always check what I have. So, like, for example, it could be pasta, it could be a can of lentils, whatever it is, and then I say, okay, I have this, and I'm gonna make a meal with that. I may add to it. I may have to buy something to add to it, and I realize just that in itself, just how much stuff I already have that I have not even consumed, and I'm always buying more. So maybe that's even a form of gluttony. Just the fact of like buying more than you already have it. You're buying other food,
And I think that's going to lead us into our next topic for our next episode, which is greed.
Okay.
And greed is kind of underlying the other three qualities that we've already looked at.
Yes.
Well, do we have any more things to say about gluttony? We talked about what it is. We talked about how temperance and patience, I'm going to throw patience in there, are ways to manage gluttony. And
also, yeah. And I think going along with what you just said, that the patience and temperance, I noticed that we appreciate things a lot more when we have, in a way, less of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
Right. So it's not, I would say it's just kind of like when we indulge in something, so it kind of dulls our spirituality. I think that sort of can be how we can look at gluttony.
Totally.
But at the same time, when we have less of something, when I have a really good meal, because I take time to focus and be present with the meal that I have,
and be thankful, appreciative,
and be thankful, then I actually really, I enjoy it. But it's not the same type of indulgence. It's like, it's this appreciation really of being present, and also not having it all the time.
Yeah.
If I have, for example, if I enjoy a fine dessert, I do this like once a week or twice a week. I go to the bakery and get myself like a really nice dessert. And I
Ooh.
guess it's indulgent. So it's okay to indulge once in a while, but not like every day, you know. It's then all of a sudden it's no longer it's not the same pleasure, is it?
Yeah, it's not special.
Yeah, and I think we commit gluttony in so many different ways where it becomes actually like we become bloated in a way, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens, we do it with people also, you know, just we meet people, we go through people, we, you know, it could be then it's the next thing, and so on, and it's rather than just kind of having less and enjoying those things
And appreciating it. Yeah, for sure.
appreciate it.
All right. Monica, thank you for your time today.
Okay, thank you, Damien.
I know it's been a difficult day for you, but thanks for sharing that with us. We were chatting before. I didn't realize you were in that post gluttony state. So
Yes, I am definitely paying for it today.
all right. Well, next time we're going to be talking about greed. So we'll see you next time right here on Bad Relationship Advice. I'm Damien.
And I'm Monica.
Okay, I'll see you later.